I always have to double check that the little seconds are counting. I gotta make sure. Welcome to Two Guys, One Bike.
Welcome. Took a...
You got so close.
No, I like the microphone closer, and I'm like trying to find a different style of comfort in these chairs. One day I envision those like little beanies on the ground.
That'd be cool. That'd be a different vibe.
I like that chill vibe where it's more of like we were just talking about the essence of every single time we're doing more videos, we're trying to grow and trying to figure out what we kind of want this to be. And as much as we've done some like educating topics on like health and fitness, which is our passion and which I want prominent in the conversations in our podcast, I find that we've had so much more raw of who we are when we kind of do it more like today and up to date and stuff that who we are today and what we've learned from past experiences. And that being said, couple little beanbag chairs on the ground really gets the juices flowing.
Leather thrones.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Something like that.
Dude.
Maybe one made of sword blades.
I was just gonna say something right here. We'll just get a bucket of swords.
Yeah. And just make our own thrones from Game of Thrones.
Yeah, but just getting back, the mindset was to do a video right before we left to double dip for when I left for my week trip at a nice little music festival, spiritual retreat, and life hit us.
Yeah.
All the practices that we always do to try and be better and be prepared. Suddenly there was a sickness to there was a morning shift unexpected to life just rolled its dice and now we're here 2 weeks later from our last video.
Has it been 2 weeks? Man.
That's because we had a week from there and a week from 2 weeks since our last posted video.
2 weeks. People are probably just distraught.
100%. The 9 viewers on our last video.
They're just beside themselves with
like
worried.
Are they okay?
Yeah,
they're growing.
What happened?
They're finding themselves.
So has anything changed for you and your mentality in the past 2 weeks?
Well, I mean, yeah, of course. Like when we were talking about when I was first leaving, like what I kind of wanted out of going back to a festival, and when Megan and I first moved out here, before that, we went to music festivals every year since we were been dating and created such a community and family. And I thought it was so nice being away from it, and then going back to it because it's one of those things where you don't know what you're missing until like what is it called? You don't know what you got until you're missing it, and so
you don't know what you had until it's gone.
Mm-hmm. And so like. I was so busy with life and I wasn't understanding how important it was for me to take these weeks away and being around people who have this higher priority of just like spiritual healing and spiritual practice. And it was just good to be around communities where like everyone wants to wake up and do meditations. Hi, Mecco. I mean, you could come say hi for a quick second. But just being around a community like that, man, I mean, the morning practices, like breath works and animal movements and intimacy training with partners through like more spiritual notes and chakras and what you're grounded with, and it was just good and just stomping my feet.
Go.
Get on and get it.
Get on, get. Hey, back up, please. Go lay down. I don't have to put you inside right now.
Don't look at Uncle Jay.
He doesn't get it.
I know.
Get it. Also, just being outside, I feel like is like you guys were just outside for a week in the river.
I brought this up so many times at the festival. And nobody loved. Have you seen the movies Matrix?
Yeah.
Thank you. God, every single person.
The Matrix trilogy?
Dude, yes. So you remember when they get back to real current life?
Yeah.
And they celebrate because they're gonna fight back as a resistance, and they decided to dance underground but not care, and they were just gonna dance like their souls off. And that's the style of dancing. I thought he stole my workout bottle again. That's the style of dancing that was like out here, just like free spirit, stomping, just like. I always remember that scene whenever I like go to some of these festivals where I'm like, it's just like group of just free souls.
That's a good scene.
It's a great scene. That's why I'm like, in those moments.
Did you run into a lot of people that haven't seen The Matrix?
Dude, I brought it up like 4 times.
Jeez.
Well, I chose the wrong party.
Yeah, I see. It's a sad day.
And some of the parties were really close to me, and I but then it would be some random people that I'm like confident with at this festival. I'm like, God, I just
doesn't this remind you of The Matrix? What's that?
well, You mean with like Keanu Reeves or with John Wick? I'm like, oh. Yeah. No, but it was beautiful, man. I mean, like we always say, wringing out the rag.
Yeah.
You wring out the rag so much, and then suddenly out of nowhere, you're on day 4 of this consistent prioritizing your spiritual self and your psychological self, and you're like, you face some real thoughts that you've been putting on timeout, that you've been putting in the back, or having clarity on thoughts that you really want to prioritize, but too much everyday life is going on that you don't have the time to take a step back. But that was my little time away during that week.
Did you run into anything that you felt like you weren't prioritizing that you really want to prioritize?
I mean, it felt as if I have all of the things that I'm trying to prioritize in line. It's that there's so many other little things that take away little bits of times to the bigger pictures, that when I go to these festivals, it's like, no, it's not when I say that a couple of these, like taking on my dog or doing dishes, it's not like these are dreadful responsibilities. It's that the time I put into them, or other little things that ripple effect, like dicking around on your phone for 13 minutes and when you wake up, instead of prioritizing those first 13 minutes to then go take out the dog, then do the dishes. Now you have 13 extra minutes if I wanted to do some breath work, some qigong, some journaling. Like we always say, it's just it's thinning the fat. That's all it is.
Yeah.
And being in an environment where there's no fat to thin, and all you have to do is just focus on and think about the main heroes. It was so nice.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was really good. I want to prioritize going. I'm not gonna at least go to one every year, but maybe 2 or 3 where it's just something I need to prioritize in my life, because it really puts me in the present.
Yeah.
I don't have past trauma that is weighed on me, holding on my psychological note. And I don't have future anxiety of responsibilities holding on my note. All I learned from these weeks is that all I have is right here and right now. All I have is this breath. All I have is this mindset and these goals. And it's not like you're not going to be doing your responsibilities. It's that you're chipping away at them in a present way, and you're not overthinking about anything else. It's just a healthier way of living that I've learned.
So just more present-minded.
That's all it is, more present.
How do the goals come into play with the present mindset?
Well, that's the thing. It's hard because when sometimes I bring up presence, I think it's like, well, if I'm just living in the moment, I can just go play some video games or something. It's not about that. It's I'm living in the moment, so it's like I'm gonna chip away a little bit at these dishes. I'm gonna chip away a little bit at this responsibility. Chip away a little bit at this, and just remembering that the weight of anxiety of what the future has to bring, and the weight of, like I said, what is creating me today through trauma is not holding any weight. I don't know.
No, I agree with you. I was just trying to get you to see your thoughts on it. That's all.
I feel like I just repeated it. I just deja vu. I'm like, I feel like I had nothing more than that.
No, I think it goes into, so one, you're not allowing, it's not that you're not necessarily allowing your past to impact you, but you're not, I think a lot of us get caught up in all of the bad things that have happened to us in the past, and rather than learning and applying the lessons that we have been taught from those experiences, it's more of, I'm just going to, kind of just reminds me of trauma bonding. I'm just going to talk about it all the time, and
feel comfort in it.
You and I are just going to go back and forth about how, not just you and I, this is just an example, just about how, terrible this was.
Sad.
Look how sad this was. Oh, you think that was sad? Well, look how sad.
And I lived that life for a long time.
Yeah.
Well, it's just because I think it's part of the healing. I think there has to be a moment at the beginning.
Yeah.
And then you can kind of, like how there's a grieving stage. There's a moment of like, you have to outwardly say like, this is something I went through, like, and this was sad. But then if you do it too often, then it's like, well, that becomes your identity.
Yes. That's what I think is the core issue there, is that if you're somebody that just constantly, it's like, yeah, this is what happened to me, and it was so terrible. And then anytime something's brought up, you're just like, oh yeah, this is what happened to me. It was so terrible, but there's never that next step of this is what happened to me, and it was so terrible, but this is what I'm doing to overcome this and be better now. I feel like that second part is rarely applied unless it's somebody that's like starting to go to therapy and like working on their past issues.
It's nipping. It's hard to, you have to nip yourself. Like one that I've been facing the last 3 years that I've been acknowledging is sometimes I'll get lost in thought, and a lot of times it's at bed, or a lot of times it's driving in the car. It's a moment of solitude where all you have is you in your mind.
Yeah.
And I'll find myself having past trauma of like decisions I made or failures I had, and like I feel my face like kind of cringe and my teeth tighten.
Yeah.
I go, that's not the healthy response to it. It's not to always just like, the boy made mistakes. Mm-hmm. I'm a great man who I am today, but if I just keep holding that energy instead of talking to myself and being like, allowing myself to accept that I learned that lesson.
Yeah.
Instead of always telling myself, how could I have done that? How could I have been that? How could I have let that happen to me? It's like, that's who I am today. Yeah. I'm happy with who I am, so I have to have a sense of relief or a sense of closure in those events through being a young man.
Yeah.
And so that's what I've been really focusing on, working on, is catching myself in those moments and being like, I'm almost torturing myself at that point because I learned from it already.
Yeah.
Why am I rubbing my face in piss?
That's fair. Is there you say you're happy with who you are. Is there anything that you're not happy with about yourself?
Once again, it's mindset. Now I can, like you said, I can choose to be sad. I can choose to always. I wanted to say that I could choose to be that way, but there's also the factor of I have to acknowledge it and face it. So once again, we're in the in between of when it's healthy enough of acknowledging it, and then healthy enough to accept closure in it. I mean, yeah, there's little bits here and there, but it's one of those things where it's more self battles.
Yeah. That's fair.
Yeah.
In what way?
Reiterate the question. Ask it again so I can.
So, I feel like right now the discussion is you want to be more present-minded. Not you, but like in general. Having a present mindset of making sure that you're enjoying your life now without losing yourself to the guilt and shame or any sort of negative emotion that is stemming from past experience, but also not losing yourself to the anxiety that comes from the pursuit of who you want to be in the future. So it's like this balance of you want to learn from the past, but you also want to grow for the future, but you also want to enjoy the present moment. And then from there, you said, I'm happy with who I am now, which is good. My question was, are there aspects of yourself that you aren't happy with, which would then kind of lean you towards how do you improve on those things for the future while also enjoying who you are in the present?
I feel like I get to choose. I want to choose it as a mindset in the sense of course, there are aspects and stuff that I need to work on.
Yeah.
I think I'm just choosing the mindset of accepting how far I've gone now.
Yep.
And being present in the moment of like, I'm proud of who I am. But of course, the wheels are never going to stop. I'm going to keep having my communications. It's just, for me, it becomes the main pillars because I feel like I'm starting to trim fat of other stuff. It's be present to try to be better present to your family, and that's the biggest one I'm trying to work on right now. It's just, I could fall into an everlasting, I got to be more present with my family.
Yeah.
Is
your family your wife, or is your family your extended family?
My family is the ones who are not in front of me in the same state at this moment.
Okay.
I'm such a presence guy, and that could be also an excuse, but I enjoy what I have control around me right here.
Yeah.
Fort Collins, Colorado. It's the greatest control I have, and so that's a whole nother time. That's a whole different person. That's a whole different counselor. No, but one thing is being my pillars are more connections, stronger connections with family, stronger connections as being a proper partner to my wife, and being, like we said, the friends that we want to be. What I picture of the people in my foxhole, the people who I want closest to me, I also have to keep up with that pillar and maintain it. So those are the little mindsets that I have as I'm growing into the future, holding weight from the past and trying to be present right now.
Got it. Trying to be present. That's a good thing.
Yeah. God, man. We always have like small little topics, and suddenly out of nowhere, our sail just takes us east when we're trying to go north.
I'm just riffing off what you're saying. That's all.
I know. Now I'm just like over here. I'm like, yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
So what have you been up to this last week?
Well, to go off what you're talking about, I think, so I've been listening to a lot of podcasts just about, I like to listen to podcasts while I make breakfast. A good one I've really been listening to, or a few really good ones, if anybody wants to check them out, are Diary of a CEO. It's quite good. And then Modern Wisdom. And then there's one podcast with Jay Shetty. I can't remember what it is, but they're all pretty much like self-growth, just development or educational podcasts about why we may act in certain ways or do things that we're doing, or how to change in certain ways. And something that has been resonating with me is it's really good to have the goal, and it's good to have a vision of where you're going, but hammering down on the journey of getting there is usually an effective way to go about it. And that wasn't a great description, but pretty much what it entails is every day I focus on completing certain tasks to the best of my ability. And then instead of focusing on what doing that is going to gain me in the future. So even though I would love to be a best-selling author, focusing on being a best-selling author is not the way to get there. The best way to get there is waking up and making sure that I am dedicating an hour or 2 hours of quality writing time where I'm just focusing on improving my craft as a writer. And by doing that every day, consistently for years, I will therefore better the chances of maybe being a best-selling author, instead of focusing on I want to do this to make a bunch of money, and instead of focusing on like the pinnacle or the top, it's just focusing on one step at a time. Well, same with working out.
I like the concept of, it's more of like, that mindset is way healthier in the sense of, as long as you are prioritizing the daily routine that you need to get done, these bigger goals will come into fruition.
Yeah.
But if you decided to grab the main big goal and put all your cards in, or all of your marbles, whatever I'm trying to say, if you put everything into that, you're going to miss out on the other responsibilities of, if you decided to do writing five hours a day, you missed out on some of your own self-journaling. You missed out on the prioritizing and being a good partner to your household to pick up. You're losing time out of your fitness. You're probably maybe losing time out of your sleep. There's a balance. And I like how sometimes the intensity of being like, well, if you wanted to be a full-time writer, if you wanted to be this person, everything has to go into there. Yes, you can reach it maybe faster, but the quality of it through slower, gradual, and consistency, I think it's just a better way of life.
Yeah.
In the sense of you get to live it more purposely with other, not just one topic.
Yeah.
I don't know. For me, I hear that, I go, that is such a golden key way of doing it.
Yeah. And I do agree with the concept of balance. I do think that balance comes in a shifting landscape of I'm going to dedicate more time to this now, sacrifice this in the meantime, and then later I'll kind of divvy it up differently. I'll take a step back on this. I'll put more effort here. Mm-hmm. Right now, that's kind of where I'm struggling with balance is, I try to make sure that I get my hour of writing in a day. We also have the, hour to hour and a half workouts every morning, which is really good. We're doing the podcast. At the same time, something I've been trying to implement is learning a second language. So trying to do like 20 to 30 minutes of Duolingo a day, just even if it's just to improve my neuroplasticity, which we can look this up, I could be wrong, but is pretty much your ability to learn and develop new skills and new things. So it just allows you to kind of increase the pliability of your mind, which is good. And then at the same time, also trying to work on journaling, which helps me in my writing, but also helps me with anxiety or depression, or just being able to get all my thoughts down or think about what you and I are going to be talking about, or journaling. And then while also, taking your dog for a walk, which is also, time Shelby and I can spend together. So then you have to decide, okay, of everything that's taking place, what habits and behaviors am I doing just to check them off, or are actually beneficial for the direction that I'm trying to go? And then you have to think, okay, well, all of these are important to me. Why are they important to me? And then you have to separate that. And then I have to come to the terms with the fact that, where am I wasting time that I can then take that time and apply it? Like if I want to get better at writing and I don't think an hour is enough, okay, then I should take time away from here and do maybe 2 hours.
Well, that's why it's like when we've gone into 3 months ago, trying to find healthy patterns, and if we took our main goals and then we've created this where it's prioritizing wives and dogs, okay, we'll go on a walk with them and double dip and stuff like that. It wasn't easy at first.
Yeah.
And now that we're in such a rhythm, it just feels so nice. It feels so healthy, but you have to be a little uncomfortable as you're trying to transition your priorities.
Yes.
And making time, if anything, the biggest thing out of it that I've learned is it takes a lot of psychological, I feel like I worked my brain so hard.
Oh, it's draining for sure.
Yeah, because you're just thinking about every little thing, and then now it's you're 4 weeks later and you're doing it, you're like, oh, this doesn't feel taxing anymore.
Yeah.
And then the dialogue changes to 6 weeks later, it's well, this is actually starting to feel beneficial.
Mm-hmm. And
now we're at this, and it's now I just feel like it's a way of life.
Yeah.
And it's so nice because now that at this age, because we're still I'm late 20s or early 30s, so young, still absorbing so much. I'm so happy to have this foundation now, because when I'm in my late 30s, early 40s, late 40s, it's just now that I understand this practice of windows and prioritizing, and it's just gonna be so much easier when I decide to do a little change to this. And when you hit okay, I've been doing really good in my book, my health and fitness is good. Now my challenge is I'm gonna, instead of work out 6 days a week, I'm gonna do 4 days a week. And I'm gonna devote 2 of those days to actually 4 to 5 hour days of writing. And it's gonna be exhausting again. It's that transition. It's almost like changing a diet, changing a workout. And, but we're gonna have a better backbone of understanding it. And when winter comes, we might implement different styles of workout where it's okay, we're gonna have higher intensity and burn these calories. Then if we're deciding that we have to have this different amount of days, we should be prioritizing our nutrition more. When are we intaking calories? When we're out exerting calories? And it's a fun juggle, and I'm excited to see where this next year kind of comes with, now that we have a platform of these last 3 months.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for me too is that it's kind of taken me off autopilot, which for a long time.
Yeah, we have the wheel of the plane now, man, and it's heavy. It's heavy.
It is. And you can. I'm just vastly more self-aware than I was years ago.
Aware, attentive, present.
Yes, and you also I have a much better understanding of why I'm feeling a certain way, even if it's a bad feeling. I have a much greater understanding of this is happening because of this, or because I didn't do this. I have a much better understanding of how certain behaviors and habits impact my mental state on a day-to-day basis, rather than constantly being oh, today I just feel sad, or today I'm just tired. And it's no, I can pinpoint to you why exactly I'm tired. Mm-hmm. I can pinpoint to you why exactly I'm feeling this way. For
self-communication.
Example, oh yeah, when those 4 or 5 days of eating pie every night, I felt sad. Mm-hmm. For those 4 or 5 days, and a lot of the time, when I was younger, it'd just be oh, I'm just feeling sad. But okay, now maybe it's because my gut biome might just be not happy, and your gut's your second brain, impacts your emotions, how you're feeling. Okay, that can be a reason. Maybe my workout wasn't as productive, or at the time I had taken like 3 days off. So, okay, I got sick and I had taken 3 days off. Okay, that's going to impact how I'm feeling. So, this feeling right now is not going to last. It's there because of this, something I did not do, and I can pinpoint exactly what I did not do that I was doing before. I can pinpoint exactly the change in my diet that could have impacted me, and then I can tell an immediate difference the moment I go back to eating a certain way or doing certain workouts, or if I don't get a certain amount of sleep, or if I don't go to bed at the right time, or if I didn't get my writing in, or if I didn't have a productive journal session, or if I didn't take my, like, all these things change my mental state and how I'm feeling on a daily basis. So it's real easy for me to sit back and be like, oh, I'm feeling this way because, rather than
ownership.
Yeah, you take ownership for exactly how you're feeling, which gives me a better sense of control, even though now I feel like I feel more.
Well, and the problem with that for you and I is we're not afraid to have the Krispy Kreme donut. We're not afraid to have a slice of the pie. But damn, we eat the box.
I know. Well, it's good because now you know. You're like, okay, I'm eating this, which is making me feel this way. That's all it is. Like, there's not a, man, I really need to go, like, I need assistance right now because I have no idea what's happening. I may be feeling shitty, but I know exactly why I'm feeling shitty.
Well, my problem is when I get into those moments too, it's not allowing myself to get mad at myself of, how could you do this? It's, okay, I'm in this position, because if I get mad at myself, I'm almost making myself even feel worse than where I'm at.
Yeah.
It's more of like, okay, now these next couple days we have to like flush out the body, we like prioritize our sleep, eat a little bit more raw, and then learn from that lesson, and then maybe consume less of what brought us to this state.
Yeah.
Don't do as much of what brought us with the lack of sleep. But yeah, it's just, it all became because we're more attentive, we're more aware, we're more present. And taking responsibility has been huge for me.
Oh, yeah.
Choice of a dialogue.
The choice of dialogue is massive.
Huge. It's just like, it's psychological programming.
Yeah.
And that's been the biggest one, is in those moments when you're feeling sad and like that, it's ownership with the proper dialogue to yourself. I did this to myself. Not, how could you do this to yourself? I did this.
Yep.
I feel horrible. And you know what? I'm going to get a little raw. I'm going to drink some water. I'm going to flush out my system. And I sure as heck learned my lesson. Like, but I don't know.
That it's the funny thing about dialogue and taking responsibility is, I have the hardest time not applying that lens to everyone around me. Does that make sense? Like it's,
I see it every day.
Strangers, I hear it all the time, and I'm like,
because I'm hearing now too, and the difference is that it's almost being more educational for me.
It
for
is.
You, it's a little twitch sometimes.
It
gets you.
I do it to myself. Like, anytime I say I need, my brain immediately is like, okay, I want. I don't need, I want this. Or, but, like I did, but, and it's like, no, you don't need the but. Just what happened. And it's a constant self-correction. Always.
Well, now I see everyone not taking ownership.
Yeah, that's what I mean, and all I ever want to do is be like, okay, now just like give me the excuse, because that's what you're doing. You're giving. What's the excuse?
Yeah, but let them do the.
Oh, I know. I just mean that
it's hard.
It's really hard because you switch your perspective, and you switch how you take in information and how you apply information to yourself, or how you see things that happen to you. And you're like, oh man, that's what I did. Like, I did that. And then other people, you listen and they're like, oh my God, like you would not believe what happened. Or like, yeah, it's because, it's never like, oh yeah, dude, like I did that. It's so hard for people. And then if I say something,
if you say something, yeah. So when I say something,
which is something I've been working on, of like just letting it go. Yeah, just like, all right, do your thing. You're on your own journey.
I use it as like, it's almost fuel for me, because now that I'm seeing it, I practice it so much. I see it in others when they're doing it. I go, that's a reminder. I have to also. I'm reminding myself that's something I'm keeping around in my mindset.
Yeah.
And so when somebody does it to me, I'm just like, okay, have I been like that? What have I done today? Unaccountable. Okay, now I'm back in the mindset of the rest of the day. I'm like, okay, I'm taking responsibility and not making excuses today.
It's just wild how that.
I feel like I get stuff done better.
Yeah,
I feel like I'm
sure.
just more productive. I
also take ownership for the things that I don't get done.
Well, it took like 2 to 3 weeks of practicing it and being frustrated in the transition of this mindset. And now I'm over here like breathing easy. I'm like, it's actually a way better way of life.
It's freeing, and sometimes I think, so I just feel a lot more, now, like I whether it's anger or anxiety or like the emotions, everything I feel is heightened, happiness, everything. So I'm glad that we're doing this, but now what it's really teaching me is how to like self-regulate emotions, whereas before you're just kind of like on the river of emotion and on a tube, and you feel like there's no control. It's just you wake up one day and you feel happy, you wake up another day you feel sad. So it is what it is. Whereas now, when you take ownership for how you're feeling, when I'm feeling bad, I'm like, okay, what did I do to cause like this feeling, and then how do I fix it, rather than today's just gonna be a low day. And
it's not what did I do to get to this point, it's what caused this to come.
Right.
And it's like, because it's not necessarily sometimes like, what did you do? Because style of dialogue, talking to ourselves a little bit gentler. What actions brought this? Maybe I did work I was working hard last night and I was wired. I couldn't fall asleep because I was in a place of working at such a high intensity and closing the bar. I ended up laying in my bed for 2.5 hours, not even on my phone, but like, it's not like, what did you do? I mean, yes, I didn't fall asleep, but I was wired because it was a Friday night, and now I woke up because I have responsibilities. Now it's 7 a.m. Now I only got 4.5 hours of sleep.
But what you did was stay up on your phone.
No, I'm saying you're not even on your phone. I'm saying you're working, you're so wired, you're closing the bar, you get to bed, and it's like, but the practice is, what can I do better? Yeah. There is a lot better, like, nightly stretches, nightly controlling your breathing. Breathing is just so big. But there is nightly routines for breath to calm the body down. There's just other practices they can do. It's just,
I don't see saying what did I do as a negative thing. To me, that's neutral, because it's just an action. What did I worked out. Working out's a positive thing. It's not me saying it's negative when I say, I worked out.
100%.
If I ate pie, it's not a negative thing that I ate the pie. I mean, it is if I look at it of like, okay, well, is this pushing me in a good direction, or is it like, am I overindulging? Okay, maybe I'm overindulging. That's probably why you feel this way at this moment. So by me saying you have to look at what you're doing, it's not a matter of like bashing your head in. It's everything that you're doing. These are all the technically positive things that I did that lead to this mental state, whereas these are technically the negative things that I did. And they're only negative in the sense of, what direction am I? If I'm somebody that's trying to lose weight, then eating pie is probably not the best idea. If I'm somebody
to that extent, 6 slices,
it just depends on the frame of where you're headed. So if somebody doesn't care and they just would like to eat pie, and pies are a bit of indulgence that makes them feel good, then that can be a positive thing.
If they want to equal it out with like, I work out to this level of extent and this intensity to be able to enjoy my slice of pie because that's important to me and I want that in my life. That's good. And it's also accepting it. It's taking ownership. I enjoy this. This is the way I live. It's not about like looking this way or doing that. I run 30 miles a week because I love running and I love pie.
Exactly. And it really, like I said, it really depends on the what did I do is literally just as a journal entry. Okay, like what am I doing on a daily basis? Okay, that might explain why I'm always tired. I can't get out of bed, or I can't go on this walk, or I'm feeling sad.
That sounded better. I like how I backtracked to you. The explanation really was good.
Yeah, well, because it's not supposed to be. I understand what you mean when you're saying, your dialogue's important, like you don't want to self-bash, but saying, what did I do isn't a self-bash.
But in how you perceive it, I think it just needed to be unfolded. Because like the way that I felt like my equal dialogue is where it's my neutral dialogue is, what brought this? Yeah. What is the reasoning from it? And I don't know.
If we're taking ownership, it wouldn't.
I was just going to say, because I just said that in my head. But if we're taking ownership, yes. But not necessarily knowing that I brought it, but like what were the actions that brought this? So because I know they're my actions, it's my life I'm living, but what brought it? It was eating that.
But you ate it.
I know.
Yeah. Sorry.
It's that it's the I'm just accepting it indifferently.
Yeah. How are you accepting it differently?
Because I already understand that I'm the one who's doing the action, so I don't need to say.
So you don't need to say.
Come on, bring it, bring it at me.
So here we are talking about taking ownership, and
100%.
you're saying you can't say that you did it because it's too intense.
I'm not saying that I can't say it. I'm saying that I have a complete acceptance already that I already know I am.
Yeah.
I'm living this life.
Then why can't you say it?
I know. It's funny because I'm sensitive.
It's interesting. I'm not. It's not a matter to give you shit. It's a
No,
matter
we
of
have this
saying-
conversation all the time because
Yeah.
when you do this, it's your testing. That's not testing. You're letting me talk to myself.
Well, you're telling me you can't. You're saying I don't want to say that I did it.
I think I'm saying that it's
because-
the equal meanings.
What equal meanings?
That I did this, and this is the action that.
So when I
Equal
say
to-
what did you do
Yep.
to cause this?
Well, if you
say-
ask me what
and you say I did this, isn't that exactly what I said?
Yes. Now, what brought this?
What brought this?
Like, what was the reason?
when you say what brought this,
I get where you're coming from.
You're putting the responsibility like it's something else. What brought this? No, I did it. No, but what brought it? No, I did it.
I just feel like if I'm working this machine, if I'm this body, if I'm this soul,
Yeah.
in this kind of context, I don't need to have, like, I understand that I already did it. It's my actions. So I'm just talking almost like, I just feel like I don't need to say that. I just feel like,
All right, let's use a concrete example.
yeah, like switch
Man,
it up.
you
Give me an
feel like
example.
trash today. Mm-hmm. What brought this on? Why do you feel so shitty? Let's just say you had a really rough
It's the
night,
difference
you
of saying
drank a
lack of
bunch.
sleep or I did not.
Let's just
get
say you're
enough
super
sleep.
hungover. Mm-hmm. And there's the question of, what brought this?
Alcohol.
All right, we can go one of two ways. Oh, well, let's see. My buddy invited me out, and
But
he
skipping
really
the
wanted
excuses.
it.
There's no excuses.
No,
just
but this
alcohol.
is what I mean. Alcohol, but alcohol didn't bring it. You drank it.
I understand.
Yeah.
It is the
drank
choice of
too
ownership.
much. I
This is a
drank too
good
much.
example of taking
Yeah.
ownership
Yeah, I
because
drank too much.
in my mind, it's not that I'm finding similar notes, right? I understand that the answer is alcohol, but
No, the
also
answer is-
but also the answer is I drank alcohol.
Yeah, but
They're
alcohol didn't do it. You did.
I know, but it's equal. It's the answer is what brought this. I drank alcohol. What brought this? Alcohol. Alcohol is just the outer picture. It's choosing the dialogue of I'm choosing to take ownership, and which is completely right of what we've been practicing. Because I'm not wrong when I say alcohol. Alcohol is it, but it's the practice of taking the ownership of I chose to drink alcohol and that's why I'm hungover. Because the answer is also right. The answer is alcohol. It is a right answer. It's a right answer.
Okay.
But it's the choice of what we're trying to grow is I decided to drink, or why do I feel this way? I ate a full pizza yesterday.
That's fair. But if you and I put a handle right here, and one of us drank it, and one of us didn't.
Let's go pizza. I don't know. Let's eat a full pizza,
Sure.
right?
Sure. If one of us ate it and one of us didn't, and let's say I ate it, and I woke up and I'm like, man, I feel like shit. And you woke up and you were like, I feel fine. Did the pizza make me feel like shit, or was it the fact that I ate it? Because you didn't eat the pizza and you feel great. The pizza didn't do anything to you. I chose to eat the pizza. The pizza can't cause.
Wait, so both parties ate the pizza?
No. You didn't eat it and I did. I understand what you're saying when you're saying,
So
well,
let's say
the
like
pizza's
this.
causing this reaction in my Mecca. Jesus, bro. Come on, lay down.
So let's say like this.
I think it's still working.
100%.
Yeah, we're good.
It's just like you ate pizza last night, right? And you're feeling shitty today.
Yeah.
And I put question in front of you. Why do you feel shitty?
I
And
ate
it's just
pizza
like no. But there's three questions. There are answers. There's lack of sleep, pizza, energy drink, and you have to pick one. What's the right answer?
So, but now you're adding more variables.
I know, but that's I'm trying to let you understand where my mind's coming from.
So if I had a lack of sleep and I drank an energy drink and ate a
No, I'm saying those were the answers to the
Yeah.
question was why do you feel shitty today?
Yeah.
And the only thing that you did was eat pizza.
I made
You have to answer pizza, right?
no.
Pizza's the reason.
It's pizza.
I know, but
It's what
it
I
makes
chose
sense.
to-
I know,
No,
but
it
you
makes
chose
sense.
it. But I'm
Yeah,
saying
yeah.
that's where I'm getting at is that it can still be a reason, but we're deciding to take ownership. I ate the pizza. This is the whole concept is the choice of dialogue. But the answer can still be freaking pizza if you have a questionnaire.
I mean, yeah, I can see but it's not. So when you just say pizza,
I get where you're getting. I'm saying get where I'm getting. It's
I get what you're saying, but I think that what you're saying is not taking ownership.
I know, and that's the point. That is the choice of my answer is still right, but the better answer of what we're practicing for a day-to-day life to live more honorably is to take the ownership by that choice of dialogue. That's the whole point of this this little thing is that answer is right, but the better answer is to take ownership, to choose the style of dialogue as not making the excuse of pizza's it. I decided to eat pizza. Pizza's always going to be pizza, but a full consumption of an entire pizza, that was my choice, and I got to have a choice of dialogue. End of conversation.
So the reason I disagree is because you can apply it to a deeper level. Why are you the way you are? My mom was shitty. Mm-hmm. And that's not a direct on anyone. It's not your mom, my mom.
You're just taking an example.
Just an example.
Good.
Just so we know, moms. Okay, it's why are you the way you are? I shitty parents. Okay, you can be right, as in like your parents did impact you. Like you're right in the sense of yes, your parents impacted you,
and it's right, but it's the choice of dialogue
that's going to shift it to owning the fact that okay, yes, I grew up with these type of parents, but it is my responsibility to address this and then shift.
Yeah, shift to life. And it's just, and that's great.
Yeah.
Another example, because I'm just saying is that answer can be used.
Yeah.
And it's
I just don't think it's a good answer.
And that's what we're practicing is that it is the more beneficial outcome is to choose the dialogue of taking ownership of. I was given these cards.
Yeah.
My parents. I want to actually learn the lessons that they have not been teaching me, or do the opposite, or heal myself. Yeah. God, look at us. Back at it. All right.
We do have to work out.
Yeah, cut this.
Yeah.
That was good. That was a good little comeback. I do like this a little bit more.
Yeah.
On the sense of I feel like more of our personalities come out when we have more present dialogue, like I was saying at the beginning. I like this, and I think this is what we're going to have a little bit more of coming up here, a little test of more current things that we're going through, and we can still take, prominently everything we revolve around is just health.
Yeah.
Not just through fitness, not just through psychological, all circumference of health. And so we'll just start implying it more on day to day and kind of keep updates and be examples and hold each other accountable, set goals. Oh,
Down the clown.
Dude, we're going to do a Spartan race.
Easy.
You guys are going to watch it. It's going to be super
It's going to be super awesome.